Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elena, and for today's video I'm gonna dig deep with you guys and talk about my life without my parents. My parents passed away when I was 14, so I want to share a little bit of how I'm feeling, a little bit of my journey of becoming an orphan at 14, and hopefully this can help uplift anyone that's struggling. Also, it's allowing me to take a little bit of weight off my shoulders right now. So before we get started, I do have some tea because tea is always good to have and it makes you feel relaxing. So I have some tea and I'm gonna pour myself some tea first. But before I have tea, I'm gonna grab a Goli gummy because I freaking love these things. If you don't know what a Goli gummy is just a small gummy that's filled with B12 and is an apple cider vinegar gummy. So there's a lot of benefits to Goli gummies. It can help with your appetite. It gives you the vitamin B12. There's pomegranate in it, beets, and apple cider vinegar. It's super good. Definitely recommend it. I'll have the link below in case you guys want to check it out for Goli gummies. So I have my cup here. It's a cute little owl. And I'm gonna open up my tea bags. So I have tea bags. These are just standard tea bags from Teavana, and they're actually really good. It's a, or maybe this isn't from Teavana, sorry. These bags are not from Teavana. I thought they were. I got them, I could have sworn they were, but they're not. These are Zazo, if I'm saying it right. Matcha meat, grapefruit, matcha mate, grapefruit. I don't know, but it's a green tea one. I'm gonna put it in here. I like to have 2 packs into my tea. Okay. We have that, and I absolutely love this. I have my hot water in here. Absolutely love this. You'll keep your liquids hot or cold, so definitely recommend. I'll have the link for you guys down below in case you want one of these. So you just have to push it here. You have to be careful with the little pop and just dump your water. Be nice and hot for you. Ooh. I love that noise. Okay, perfect. Life after losing my parents at the age of 14. It's a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster. You know, when you lose someone that you love truly and dearly, and I didn't just lose my parents, my sister passed away and my little brother passed away in the same accident. So I lost multiple loved ones at the same time at this age. You know, when you're 14, you think, oh, like you're turning into like your rebel teen stages. And you're just, you know, trying to get by through school and, you know, staying focused and trying to do what your parents tell you to do. You clean up. Sometimes you don't clean up. My childhood was very loving and it was a beautiful childhood. We definitely didn't come from a family that was privileged financially. My parents did struggle financially at good times of our lives, but that's something that we could talk about at another future time. But they definitely brought a lot of love into our family. So, you know, it was hard. You know, as an adult right now, before I get into how it was as a teenager, as a child, because you think you're an adult at 14, or not even adult, but a teenager, you are still a child. Because trust me, I've been there. I thought I was a little older and I'm like, okay, you're still a child and you still need love and you still need that traumatic loss can shift dramatically your future and your present. So now as an adult, I am 27. I still miss my parents dearly. I've noticed it's been quite of a journey, having to live my life without my parents, and even more now as an adult. Now let's get backtrack when I was 14 years old. So it first didn't hit me 100%, what was happening. I knew, but I didn't know due to reasons. At least I didn't know, but obviously logically, I didn't have an open casket, so I couldn't physically see that they were gone, but I knew that they were gone. Just a warning to some people, this might be a trigger, so definitely be opening to listening to sensitive topics. I felt like it was a dream where it's you just get hit by something and you can't wake up type of thing. You're hit by a bus, you can't wake up, you're in a coma type of thing. That's how I felt. I felt numb. I felt like it just didn't make sense to me. And, me being the youngest out of the ones that survived, I felt guilty. I had survivor's guilt. I don't have survivor's guilt like I used to when I was younger. Do I question sometimes? Not as much as when I was younger, but definitely had survivor's guilt. More or less because of the way everything happened. Why me? Why didn't they survive? Type of thing. And it was touchy because my younger sister, she was the more athletic. She was the one that could beat me at things, and I felt guilty. I felt guilty because she should have made it, before me. That night before, and I'm only going to talk about a little bit of it. I'm not going to talk a lot about it because it is personal, and there's some things that's okay, you're making it public, but you're a young kid and you're oh, your little sister. And that night when they passed away, I kicked my sister out of my bed. I told her, no, you can't come here, blah, blah, I don't want you to sleep with me. That survivor's guilt hit me a lot for a long time. Because I felt like she could have survived if she was with me, if I didn't kick her out of my bed, because I didn't see where she was, and so on. When I talk about it, I get emotional, and then thinking about it, but I definitely have healed from that, and I don't have the survivor's guilt, but I know I did. So just hearing back at it and just hearing back at my experience, oh, that's hitting me. That's hitting me internally, and I feel it in the pit of my stomach. My dad was able to help us escape. Our house got on fire, so my dad was my hero, like any other day. So was my mom, and it did have me question, how is it possible that he was the one that guided us out and he didn't come out? But knowing my dad had to have went back to rescue my other siblings, and he couldn't just leave, So, I felt a lot of survivor's guilt in the beginning stage. I definitely was an angry teenager too. Angry at the world, angry at myself, not quite understanding why this happened, and then as an immigrant, it made it even worse because you come to this country and you come here with your parents, and those are the only people that are guiding you through this process, and it wasn't easy at that point, when I'm trying to with my parents. They were the ones that were helping me through this process. Who else is going to help me through this process? Yes, I had my siblings. Yes, my sisters, but we were still all kids. And even my oldest sister, she was 18, but even though she was, becoming an adult, she was still a kid. We were all still kids, and it was hard. I can only speak on my behalf, but I definitely can speak upon my sisters that life without your parents is definitely not easy. I don't want to stay too much in my childhood, as far as like things that have happened and so on, but like there's gonna be people that are truly there for you and to support you, and I speak this from my experience. And then there's gonna be people that are only temporary, and because of how everything happened, there were so many people in my surroundings. I'm thankful and I'm blessed for the people that were there, that were giving and helping and everything like that. Obviously, I don't know everyone, and when a lot of things happen, you don't remember. And I was the youngest, so there's a lot of stuff that I don't really remember as far as like who was in and out, saying hi or whatever, and donating and stuff. But I definitely will cherish the people that did help at that time. But when I talk about like there's people temporary, and I mean as far as like people support temporary, friends temporary, I could tell you the amount of people that I noticed at that time that were in my life that I thought they were my friends, and they were only there temporary. No connections with them anymore. And it's just like that. You're gonna have people that are there in the long haul, and they're gonna have people that are only there temporary, and people drift apart, events happen, and so on. But like in the end of the day, what I have learned, living without my parents, I have learned that I have to survive on my own. And in the beginning, I didn't know, like, I would have that kind of, like, okay, others, rely on others to be there, to have that comfort. Because that's something that I really wanted, was the comfort. And I was getting used to that. Like, having my cousins, having, people around. But like I said, little by little, after a while, people disappear, people disconnect. You don't have the friends that you used to have. You see life differently because you have to grow up fast. I had to grow up fast. Even though I was still a child at heart, I had to grow up fast. And it definitely has shaped me into the person I am today. But there was a lot missing, of being raised. There was a lot missing. My parents did it. I'm going to take a minute. Tea will help me calm down. So my parents did a good job in raising me. Like I said, I was 14. I already had like those values instilled in me and so on, but still a kid at heart, and still like, where do you move on moving forward, right? It wasn't easy. Luckily I had supportive family members, my uncle, my aunt, my cousin, at the time, and they were there. We had other family members too, but we had a falling out. We don't talk to them anymore, and that's just where it is. If I feel like disclosing in the future, I'll definitely will, why we had a falling out, but there was a falling out due to certain things. So I did have, more of a tight, relationship with the side of my mom's family. There was more than my dad's family, and they were there, they were helpful. But, at the end of the day, living life without your parents, like no aunt, uncle, cousin can ever replace that support, emotional support, mental support, when you do struggle, financial support. But more than anything, it's emotional and mental. Everything else is whatever. It's emotional and mental. I found comforting and so on through, being with my family, being with my cousins and all of that. But little by little throughout the years, you kind of like grow out of that. You grow out of that, you're doing your own thing. Life without my parents was hard because I had to go through things and I had to figure them out on my own. Plus, being an immigrant, I really didn't know what was next for me. Thank God I had people that looked out for me, to amazing individuals like Lisa, like Elodia, that those are just two individuals that have embarked in my heart forever, in my soul. But I know there was a ton of people behind. And I believe, I can't remember. I don't know her name. It's like, I'm like horrible with names, but there's a ton of people behind that, making that possible for me to, you know, be able to fix my status and so on. So, you know, I definitely value all the individuals that were in my life, and even if people were in my life temporarily. But what my point is, when you lose someone and you lose your parents, those memories are still going to happen without them. And that is where the challenging part comes. That is when you have to have a thick skin, and where you have to learn that you're going to see people disrespect their parents and you wish that you had yours, you know, and you're like, why would people treat their parents that way? Or you're going to see people where they have that family portrait picture and you can't have that because your parents are no longer here. Your siblings are no longer here. Now as an adult, like I said, I could get more in depth in this, but I want to try to keep it a little short, just because there's so much to it. But I have noticed it even more as an adult. It's been hitting me harder. It's definitely been hitting me harder. I'm at a different point in my life now where I feel lost. So question certain things, and I'm like, okay, but what is next? What do I do? Like, how, like, you know, it doesn't make any sense to me. And I go back to that moment where, you know, I cannot be in that mindset because there's a reason why I'm here and there's a purpose for me. May it be a big purpose? Great. May it not? That's fine too. I really don't need a big or small purpose. Like, either or is fine. I just know that I am thankful that I'm here. I'm thankful to share my story. And also that I'm thankful to have my sisters. More importantly, have a good relationship. I don't have the best relationship with one of my sisters, but there's a lot to it too. We're still sisters. We still talk, but like, you know, you're gonna have siblings where you just like bump your heads with all the freaking time. And we're just like that. There's lots of love there, but we do bump heads a lot. But even though I'm going through my stuff, so are my sisters. Just recently I shared with one of my sisters, like, it's hard. Living without our parents is hard. Even more now as an adult, where I'm, you know, building my family, and I, you know, obviously I'm gonna want kids. I don't know when, guys, okay, so don't get too excited. But even more now, thinking about it,